Okay, so today we're going to be taking a look at all these same day EZAs that have come out to GB and Global, and we're going to be quote unquote fixing them. So I'm going to go through each of their kits and talk about the issues that I personally have with these units and what I would like to see in order for them to be approved. They're not really going to be changed in any way, right? But just how I would have designed the units and where they went wrong. Hopefully we get like EZA 2 in the future. You know, they kind of talked about that a little bit, hinting at it. But which EZA to you guys is the most disappointing and how you would change them? Let me know in the comments below, right? I'm interested to see what you guys are thinking, but let's hop right into it. We're going to save this LR for last. We're going to start from the sub EZAs. So this is the AGL Super Saiyan God Goku. Now, I think a lot of people are disappointed in him and consider him to be actually the worst EZA in this batch, which is very unfortunate as he's, you know, potentially very helpful for this Representatives or Universe 7 category team, for this STR Blue Goku Goku getting his Spirit Bomb off, but it's like, at this point, he's not really more running over even the UI Gokus. They just didn't really give him the love he deserved, unfortunately, and it just sucks, right? Because this guy could have been really interesting. Now, talking about fixing him, I mean, quick and easy way to fix this guy, give him stacking defense, right? Doesn't have to be a greatly stack, attacking defense, but just a defense stack normally would be good. Even just a one-turn raise of defense would actually be the difference between him tanking normals and not in a lot of difficult content. Because right now, his defensive levels, even with like full defense equipped support, it's just not enough to tank these normal attacks from these bosses, and it's very unfortunate because that I feel like is a very like bottom line that you want for units to be able to tank normals. Obviously they don't have to tank supers, but tanking normals is very important. So yeah, that does happen with this guy, unfortunately. Now, another easy way they could have did is make this damage reduction like the STR God Goku. That would have been nice if this was damage reduction. Then for sure he tanked normals, even without the defense raise on there. What else could they have done, really? I mean, one other thing I would have liked to see from this guy is like maybe Representatives Universe 7 category support, Universe Survival Saga support, because that team, obviously, I feel like they're gonna bring a lot of buffs to this team very soon. They're clearly setting it up. So having another support option for like these Saiyans would be nice. We have 17, but just adding a second one that is, I feel like, you know, this God Goku is more accessible to people than the 17 is, right? The physical MVP 17 is specific, but that's kind of what I would change about him. He's very close to being good. He could do some solid defense, offense numbers. I mean, once his attack, you know, he builds up a lot of this greatly stacking attack. He has a lot of attack in his links. He links really well with the STR Blue Goku Goku, but he did fall flat, unfortunately. I feel like he might be the worst in the batch, right? I might do a tier list about ranking these guys. Let me know what y'all think about that too. But next, we're head off to this guy. I actually wouldn't really change anything about this guy. I think they did him really well. Actually, no, there is one thing I would change about him. It's this right here. The damage reduction is really good, but what happens is he has to get attacked to build up all this damage reduction. That could be an issue, especially early on. I'm sure, you know, some of you guys using this guy maybe even think like, you know, oh, he's overrated. Because those first few attacks he has to take are a lot of damage. Because he starts off with like, you know, 100k defense. Even after your super attacks, he's like 200 to 250k at most defense, right? Depending on how many super attacks you get off. And he could really fraud you out early on, having to build up that reduction. Now, once he's built up, he's very, very good. So that's why I don't really have too much of an issue with it. Because for a sub EZA, he's supposed to be just an extra option. So the fact that you could run him in these red zone stages very comfortably, even in like the Sin Shenron event, right? This guy will be a super helpful option for a lot of people in that Sin Shenron event once it comes to the global version, right? So that's going to be really good. But yeah, I'm a fan of this guy. I think they did him really well. Even though he does have to compete with the STR, with the physical God Goku, I mean. You could run this guy as a floater on the team and he could work fine. Again, maybe they could have given him some like support or something, like slot 3 viability a little more, but I think he's cool, right? I think he's nice. Maybe make this 4 turns instead of 3 turns so you could float him off more comfortably and get this to stack even if he's off rotation, right? Since he's technically supposed to be an extra option. But that's pretty much it. Very minimal changes, if any. If I had it, like, I would say if he didn't, obviously he's not going to get changes, so he's fine as he is, honestly, overall. But yeah, you guys get my point. So this dude is very disappointing. I'm not sure if there's any way they could really have saved this guy unless they're going to take this kind of passive away. But usually they like building these units to be very similar to how they were pre-EZA. So, I mean, he's okay in the Gamma fight, I guess, but I mean, they could have just, I don't know why they gave him like an HP restriction here. You didn't need that. Maybe make him stack, greatly raise for the turn, make this a high chance, make his defense more consistent. His offense could be solid against 2 more enemies, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a fan of this guy, really. But he's like, he has the semblance to be really good. It's just that, like, what would you add to him? Maybe Future Saga support would be nice. Like, time travel support in this guy would be really interesting. Because he's the only Blue Goku in that category. He already has crit, he has additionals, he has the multiplicative buffs. His stats just aren't there though, right? Especially against 1 or more enemies. Or I guess 1 or less enemies, which is just 1 enemy, right? Against 2 or more, he's actually pretty solid, but that's really it. Just make his stats higher. That's really it. At the bare minimum. Like, what else was maybe make this 200%, and then he'll be pretty good. I think from there, actually, a pretty solid option for this Future Saga team. Maybe 40% support to time travelers would be interesting, and then he would get those extra stats, and that would help him, and he'd help the rotation. He'd be focused on these 2 teams, where I feel like, you know, these teams could potentially get a lot of buffs this year. Would be good for him, but they kind of dropped the ball. Next we have TEQ Whis. I actually think TEQ Whis is better than we initially thought. Since this is actually when attacking, which is a huge change. They could have given him a defense raise for the turn. He does get to about like 500-ish K defense on this full rotation, but he's very, very, very restrictive. They could have easily added evasion to this guy. Like, what if he just had like a, like, this could have been like, I don't know, maybe like if there was a full Banner Master and Disciple rotation or Realm of Gods rotation, then he gets like a type of dodge, right? Like at least a high chance somewhere in there would be really nice. Just give him like, yeah, the high chance of dodge like INT Whis would have. Maybe even if it's restricted. I think that's pretty much it. He's obviously meant to be, you know, attack, debuffer, and stunner. You know, with this lowering attack here and here. He could actually be quite helpful in Super Battle Road, which is where he's meant to be. But I think giving him a dodge would be what really, you know, ties him together. Maybe even a seal here on a super attack, so you could stun, attack, debuff, and seal, right? That'd be interesting. Then with the dodge ability, I think I'd be a big fan of him, but I think they did, you know, I can hold back on him a little. They could have given him dodge. Maybe, like, if there's 2 more enemies, he has a dodge chance, right? Easy. Or he has a 50% chance to dodge, even a set, like, okay, I said 50, but what if he has a great chance to dodge for the first 3 turns from the start of battle? Or 4 turns, right? And then that's obviously made for Super Battle Road, but you could definitely take advantage of that in red zone type of situations, right? I think I'd be a fan of that for sure. But that's pretty much how I would change this TEQ Whis specifically here. Next we have the INT Beerus. So INT Beerus himself actually I think is pretty good. His defense levels can get really high. His additional has a high chance instead of a medium chance. I'm telling y'all, this is a night and day difference it feels like sometimes. That high chance instead of medium chance. I really despise additionals that have a medium chance to become a super. They just don't ever happen. They never feel like they happen to me like once in a moon. Well, it's obviously the high chance, you know, it's a coin flip, and I feel like it's obviously much more common. Like, duh, obviously it's a better chance, but I feel like it feels like such a major difference when it really shouldn't be in terms of like the numbers. But yeah, they could honestly just get rid of this. This is pretty useless. Like, you're not gonna debuff the enemies. He can't even debuff the enemy himself. So I guess, well, were they intending him to be ran with TEQ Whis or something? I don't know what to tell y'all. That, you know, debuff thing right there is just useless. He doesn't even have it like pre, you know, his awakening. Maybe he could have been super effective if he's facing like a Realm of Gods enemy at least, or maybe he does 5 attacks, he's super effective, or maybe when he receives an attack, he can get it for like 3 turns or something, right? Something extra so that you could definitely see it. Because his damage, he does more like, you know, 5-6 mil or so supported with like INT Whis. You know, once he's built up, his defense could get really high though, like, you know, 700, 800 plus K, which is pretty good, right? For just a normal banner unit EZA, because this ability is really strong. But If this was more consistent, it's like 5-6 mil super effective, he's doing like 3 of those in the turn, then it'd be looking a lot better. So just make it this more accessible to get is all I would do. He doesn't need to be a support or anything. I think he does his role just fine. I'm a big fan of this INT Beerus. I do think he's one of the better EZAs in this patch. I think people aren't really talking about him like they should. This guy's pretty good. I like him. This INT God Goku also I think is fine. You could have had a little more. I mean, I think this ability is cool, right? Having the super effective against all types, start of the next turn. If they really want to make this guy good, though, they could have made this, like, at least have the medium chance. Again, I said I don't like it, but it's 2 attacks, right? So if it's like 2 attacks have a medium chance, that's better than just 1 attack that has a medium chance. And then he could potentially get stacks of this. Or they could have made this a 3-turn stack and then make his defense so much better. That's all I would really change. Maybe give him some, like, different thing to set apart from the other God Gokus, like maybe heals 10% HP at the end of turn or something, right? You know, just something extra. Because there is another God Goku that heals, if I'm not mistaken, like this INT SSR God Goku that awakens into the Super Saiyan 1. He heals, right? Yeah, he has HP recovery. And I mean, like, obviously from the movie, well, he's on movie here. So, like, from the movie, when he, like goes back into God form, that can kind of be like a heal, maybe even a future revive or a future God Goku, right? But yeah, not really much I'd change. He's just very basic. Just make something where, you know, he's a little more unique with that healing, I think. Make these like medium chances to be additionals, and then he's kind of cooking. Not much else I would change. I think he's, again, he's like, you know, in the middle pack of the EZAs. I wouldn't say he's one of the better ones necessarily, but he's not bad. I think that they gave him a solid amount of stuff, but it could have been a little more. INT Beerus is very good. I guess honestly what I would change is, okay, hear me out, right? What if this was 40% and then he got up to an 80% chance to dodge, or at least 35% or something, right? Bam, that's simple. Or they keep this the same and then they add another of the same line but for Realm of Gods. So if you're on a full rotation of all the units being Realm of Gods and Bond Master Disciple, he would have a 100% chance to dodge. I think that's fair because it's so restrictive, and then him having that 100% chance to dodge while being a support would be so good. It'd be, woohoo, things would get crazy, but I don't think he needs that, right? He doesn't need to be changed at all. I think he does his role perfectly fine. I would argue out of the TEQ Whis, he's probably the best sub-EZAs because he's doing something the most unique. He's supporting. He has his evasion chance, right? He's just built perfectly, just like you would want a support unit to be. Maybe if they really wanted, they could make this like a stack or a great raise for the turn. Not really a big deal either way, but yeah, I do like this INT Whis. He's pretty pog, is what I'd say. I think they designed it perfect, honestly. So next we have the Vegeta and Bulma unit. I actually think after uses, this guy is better than I was like giving him credit for personally, but he still has a lot to be desired. I mean, there's a lot of changes I would make for him. Greatly raise attack and defense for the turn. I would give him, make this attack and defense for 4 turns. And then that's fine. Actually, that's pretty much it, right? Those 2 changes would make him twice as good even, right? Funny enough. And issue with this guy, he doesn't have any multiplicative buffs, so his counters don't do any damage. Like, he does like 400k counters and then 2 mil attack sets. But if you had this 80% multiplicative attack, things would get so much different. He would hit like a lot harder. Like, I'm not even joking with that. He would hit so much harder. And then the defense raise would just be nice for, because there's certain normals he can't tank in the game. So just kind of eliminating that is fine. And the trade-off is that obviously you can't take a super attack. So I think that's fine. I don't really have an issue with it. But if I only had to make one change, it would definitely be the attack. Because his defense is at least fine. Especially with support, he probably is able to tank any overall in the game. His rage form is pretty nice. I guess if there's one thing I'd change about this, maybe give him some STR orb changing. That way when you come back, you can heal with these orbs. But you have to keep in mind, if the enemy super attacks you during this rage form, and then you come back here, they can't super attack you again if they used up all their supers for the turn. So that means that Vegeta would be in free reign to get, like, you know, 6 attacks if they're all in slot 1 and do a gajillion damage with his counters, right? Which could be a useful tool. I actually have never gotten this. I've used them in a couple events, but I've never gotten the raids for him. But it is there, and it could be pretty helpful for you in a lot of situations. We have this Whis right here, Beerus and Whis LR. I wouldn't change anything about them, actually. I think they're perfect. I think they did a great job with their EZA. You could say, oh, they have to take this attack, but this lasts for the rest of the battle. So, okay, who cares, right? I mean, I guess they could make this, like, 77%. Sure, it doesn't really matter. I'm a really big fan of this unit. I think they did a fantastic job. They're the best Yellow Coin LR EZA, I think. Are they just the best Yellow Coin LR? I feel like Golden Frieza is still better, but this unit is like up there for sure. Top 3 Yellow Coin LR. Probably Golden Frieza, this unit, then Goku Black and Zamasu, which it was kind of crazy. Goku Black and Zamasu came out such a long time ago, but yeah, this unit is fine. I just want to bring these two because they're Saiyan Day units. I don't have this Vegeta, so I can't really talk about them. I've heard people say that they don't like how his defense ability works once he transforms, because he gets all this defense on Super. And I agree. This should have been when attacking. What is this? Okay, so he gets a section buff here. This should have been when attacking. And, yeah, maybe this as well. Like, when he receives an attack, my bad. Because if it's when he supers, then that's kind of, like, dumb. Because this guy obviously would like to be a slot 1 unit, but I guess he's not going to be a slot 1 like that. I think this is okay. Maybe make the build up a little quicker. Because this is what? How many attacks does he have to take for this? I think that's 6 attacks. If they made it 50%, that'd just be 4 attacks, right? Yeah, and that is a difference for sure. Or it might be 5 attacks with 40%. I can't math in my head. Yeah, just 5 attacks. So if they made it 4 attacks, I'd be fine. Even 3 if they wanted to be generous, but that's pretty much it. I don't know. I haven't used him too much. This unit, what would I do about him, huh? I'm not sure if I would really change anything. I guess Super Saiyan Goku. He could have this great chance to dodge, and that's it, right? It doesn't really need it, but would have been good to see. I can't think of what I would change for him. Let me know if you guys would change anything about this guy, but he's perfect in my opinion. A lot of teams, good leader skill and everything. That's pretty much it. Again, that's all the units that have come out during Saiyan Day. Let me know what y'all think about these units. I guess we have these 2 units. Make them good. They're just straight up bad. Make them good, please. That's it. Right? And that's all. I would like to hear what you guys think about them and which one is your favorite in the comments below as well. And I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace out.